Welcome to a brand new episode of Q&A with Shridhar Kunte and I, Conchita Fernandez. In this series of videos, we will be looking at questions sent to us by you that cover technique, jargon, and camera operations. If you'd like to ask us any question, do send them across to our Facebook and Instagram page using the hashtag Q&A with Shridhar Kunte. Hi Shridhar, how are you doing? How has your week been so far?
Hi Conchita, good evening to you. The week so far was really busy in going through the questions sent by our readers and selecting them for the final session, what we are doing it as of now.
Okay, let's begin with the questions. The first one has been sent to us by Shirja Chaturvedi from Mumbai, and she asks, I enjoy shooting videos on my DSLR, but often feel the need for extra lighting. Is there an effective fill light option for video, the way one would use a flash gun for stills?
Yes, there are lights available to shoot video with the help of DSLR or maybe the mirrorless cameras. Like you come across the flash for the still photography, there are two types of lights available. One is on camera and other one is off camera, which is very similar to the flash gun or the studio lights what we use for the still photography. The intensity of the lights will depend on the size of the LED panels what you are shooting with. The smallest would be a matrix of 4x3 or 3x3, and if it is off camera, it can go as large as say 500 by 500 LEDs in a one matrix. So that has to be mounted off camera and maybe on the tripod, and that may be slightly cumbersome to use in field, but on camera options is the most suitable thing when you shoot a wedding or the small interviews, because the portable lights will allow you to mount on the camera where the normal on camera flash gun you will be mounting, that is the hot shoe, and it can be very easily powered with the small power like is either pencil batteries, AA size batteries, or maybe the lithium ion batteries, which are very similar, that are used to power your DSLR.
Our next question comes from Manik Gandhi from Ahmedabad. Manik asks, which situations warrant the use of a lens hood? Also, which lenses require the use of a hood?
In practice, if you ask my personal opinion, I will use the lens hood at all the times, irrespective of what lens I will be using on my camera. First, you need to understand that there are typically two types of lens hood available, which you need to buy separately or comes as a part of your lens when you buy it. First, it is the flower type, or I can call it as a petal type lens hood, which is very much a part of the a varifocal length. Like varifocal means I will mention that focal length starting from 18 to 135 or that kind of a thing. Or even the wide angle lenses, the petal type lens hood is very common on the wide angle lenses. That is focal length from say wide angle zoom focal length starting from 16 mm and ending at 18 mm or say 1740, that kind of focal length. Even the telephoto lenses, fixed telephoto, they will have a lens hood, which is a tube kind of a thing, a hollow tube, which goes over the lens. And even for the telephoto zoom lenses, the lens hood comes, and you should use the lens hood all the time. Why you should use it all the time? Basically, it does two purposes for you. It serves two purposes for you. One purpose is it protects the accidental bumping of the lens front element when you are shooting in crowded areas like a wedding or maybe on the street. The second thing, which is most important, it takes care of, it blocks the unwanted light, or I can say the stray light, which is entering uh, in your camera while you're shooting it against the light, or maybe if you are shooting in a wedding or with the studio lights with halogen lamps or the video lamps coming from all the directions. So it takes care of that. What it adds? It adds color balance. It adds black, the richness of black areas in your image, and total overall contrast in your image will be boosted slightly when you compare the two shots side by side with lens or without the lens. And the most important thing, you can use the lens without hood also when you want to show your creativity by adding the flare in your image. So these are the points you should consider while using the lens hood on your lens.
Our next question comes from Ruta Bhatt from New Delhi. Ruta is asking, can a camera still be used after its shutter cycle is over?
Yes, you can use it even if your shutter cycle is over. The normal shutter cycles for the entry level camera, like Canon, say 200D or 100D, starts at 1 lakh, and it goes, the maximum shutter cycle life cycle mentioned on the DSLRs which are for the professional use, like Canon 1DX series or Sony Alpha A9 or A7R Mark IV. They will typically go as high as 5 lakhs. So considering that if you shoot a wedding like twice, thrice a week, where you can shoot images right from 500 images to say 3000 images, the expectancy of the shutter life cycle during the season would be like definitely for 2 years. And even if your camera is rated for the shutter cycle of say 1 lakh, nothing happens even after 1 lakh. It will continue to operate in a normal way it used to operate even within that time limit or the shutter cycle limit. So there is no worry at all. So even if it process the normal life cycle or shutter cycle, I can say if your camera has got a 1 lakh shutter cycle time lifespan, and if you are shooting even after that, you will hardly notice any change in your images or in your shots. The shutter will continue to perform in a normal operation, as it will open in the normal operation, and it will go till it dies eventually. But that period is still far, far away from the 1 lakh shutter cycle, for the example which I am describing.
Okay. That's a wrap for this episode of Q&A with Shridhar Kunte. Don't forget to send us your questions on our Facebook and Instagram page using the hashtag Q&A with Shridhar Kunte. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Shridhar.
Thank you, readers.